What is going on, Predators? It's Travis here today. We're going to be sitting in front of the computer doing something a little bit different. So I was just kind of curious and I started searching some online 3D models for different archery gear and things like that that I can give to some of my buddies. So I wanted to make sure that I could get some gear that I wanted and that I used a lot in my archery toolbox that I didn't have, and something that I could make here at home. So I've gone through and I went through the website things.com and I've basically gone through and found some really cool 3D printable files that I can make here at my house that don't really require much else other than just these 3D printed parts, maybe some small pieces of hardware like screws and nuts and things like that. Some of these things that are going to add to my toolbox and just, you know, make things a lot more convenient. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this, and I'm going to go to things.com and we're going to go research some of these parts that we found. All right, so with a cursory search over here, we've come up with a whole list of different things, and if you see anything on this list that you're interested in, you want to see me make a video about, or you know, print and things like that, let me know. I'll be curious to see it. So these are basically just a repository of different designs that people have uploaded that they just want to give away for people for free, which is really cool. I had uploaded some of my previous designs, like my nose buttons and things on here, but I had to take some of them down because great way to get sued by certain individuals in the hunting industry that don't like that your design is way too close to theirs, or what they perceive as. Anyways, we'll go away from that topic. So anyways, I kind of came up with a list here, and I was looking through, let's see, a few of them that kind of caught my eye. One of them over here was, this one was kind of cool. This was one is a archery Peep sight cover. It's not something I would really use, but if you're into, you know, like target archery and things like that, then like I say, having a Peep sight cover to cover your clarifying lens would be a really nice tool. But I don't use a clarifier or anything like that on my Peep sight. Here's something really simple that I decided was a first thing I'm going to print. So I'm going to download here. This is an archery scale holder. So I have a bow scale, but I don't have the little piece that actually holds the arrow in the center and keeps it from rolling around in there. So this is one thing I'm going to 3D print for sure. I'm going to give out the credit where credit's due. The guy that designed this little simple piece was Muhammad. Pretty funny name, Muhammad instead of Muhammad. Okay, anyways. So Muhammad designed this. Cool. Good job, dude. Then we have a archery training device. It's funny. This is the actual release that I've got here. Very similar to the release I've got here. I have the Carter Mini Evolution, which is a really great release. But we're going to be printing this really simple archery trainer tool, and it allows us to, you know, just get some practice while we're on the road. Something that's packable you could take with you. Great tool. This one's made by Chudko Stuka V3D. Chudko Stuka. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Whatever. Sorry, I butchered it. Let's see. We got another alternative archery shot trainer here. This one's made by Sean AZ. I kind of like this design a little bit better. Let's see. So between the two, I'm going to choose one. So that one's just a really plain there. This one actually has like a little bit of a base and stuff on top. It looks a little bit more like a true bow grip. So I think we're going to go with this one right here by Sean AZ. All right, so we're going to download that one there. So let's get rid of that. Next, here's something really simple that I really like is Bear with a Bow. Designed as archery arrow level for determining your FOC. So this is a really simple piece here that will allow you to basically determine level on your arrow, so you can balance it and make sure that you can test and even mark the FOC point on your arrow. So this is really cool. Very simple little design here that we're going to be able to 3D print. Basically your arrow will sit down inside of here, and like you see, it's got a V shape, so it'll work with almost any arrow size. Looks like it's got a little bolt hole there, so it kind of has a pivot. So this pivots down inside of the other piece, inside of the base here, so that you can make sure it's perfectly balanced. And I do have a bunch of little small levels that I had bought for another project that will work really well, but pretty much any kind of spirit level with the little bubble inside of it should work just fine for this right here. So just a note on all these, like a lot of these files were created by other creators, and they have, you know, some good designs that they've really, I think I should bring credit to, you know, so we could see, okay, who made this, and you can go see them on these specified sites that you can see here on the camera view that I've got. And like I say, I'll post links in the description as well to their work so you can see that. But let's look at a couple of others here. This is clever. I just wanted to show this one off real quick. Look at this. Somebody made like a hostage Somebody made like a hostage rest here out of like toothbrush heads or something. That's clever. I mean, hey man, in a pinch, technically it'll work. Let's see, sunshade. I actually made a sunshade at one point in time. I hadn't sold it on the website, but I did make a sunshade for certain sites. I think it's for the Spot Hog sites. If you're interested in that, leave a comment down below. Somebody here dangerously close to another thing on the market. Man, watch out. I don't want to highlight their name because they might get sued or something. So this looks like a kind of a homemade design here for a thumb barrel. I'm going to try to print this for my thumb release here. So we're going to download that guy right there. And just to point out, this was on Maker World, made by Satterall. So here's something that could be pretty helpful, and this is an archery target stencil. This is cool because you can lay this on top of a really old, worn-out foam target, you know, that still has maybe one or two good sides, but all the paper or whatever is worn off of it, or the paint or whatever. So you can actually lay this over the target and spray paint it and actually have yourself a set of target rings and everything. So this is really cool. Let's go ahead and download that one. This is again made by Sir Fancy. All right, thank you, Sir Fancy. Well, this is pretty cool. This is something somebody made, just a cool little quick design. This is not, I'm not going to print this, but if you had somebody like a youth archery competition, this would be a great way to be able to make some medals without having to spend a whole bunch of money on it. If it's like a non-funded, just charity kind of youth archery competition thing, this would be a great way to be able to print some medals or something, a little prize for the kids, and make sure that they, you know, feel really appreciated for their accomplishments. So really cool there. Like I said, I'm going to highlight a lot of these, but I'm not going to necessarily print all of them. There we go. Here's another good one here. This is an arrow holder for out the range. So it's a little, basically a thing. It's got a spike on it that you can stick your arrows in. I really like that. That's cool. We're going to print that. We're going to probably print this on a more durable filament, something that's not going to break whenever I stick it in the ground. So love this design. So we're going to download that right there. And so this one was made by Wilczek. There you go. There's his info right there. Can't pronounce that. So this is a really cool design of an arrow holder that I found that I wanted to use here. So I'm going to show you this. I've actually printed this once already, but I'm going to print this again with this little bit more robust version of it. So previously I printed this one right here. I was printed that exact same color too, and it came out really good, and I really like it. But it is a little bit, whenever I put the arrows in there, they're a little bit top heavy. So I'm going to print this one here, and this is a little bit more dense, and so we'll get that done. And yeah, all right, so now we're going to head to the printer, and we're going to go start getting this all printed here. So one of the things I love about this printer of mine is that I can print multiple things at the same time, and especially with a lot of these little archery tools like this, I can print several things at one time. I can even print multiple filaments at the same time if I want to, as long as they're in the same temperature range. But for this, I'm going to print this batch of things right here in a very durable polycarbonate. So it's a carbon fiber filled polycarbonate. So let's go ahead and change the filament here. We're going to go PACF. All right, so we're going to send this to the printer. I'm going to go change this real quick from PACF, which is like carbon fiber filled nylon. I'm going to change it to carbon fiber filled polycarbonate so we can get a little bit better print here. And we're going to send this, and then we'll come back and check with you during the live print and show you before we get to the results. So we got this piece right here. This was completely printed. It's black, so it's kind of hard to see me hold it up against the wall here in the light. So this is completely printed in the polycarbonate, carbon fiber infused polycarbonate. It's got a really cool texture on the bottom of it. You can see that right there. And this is just from the build plate or the build surface that I'm actually 3D printing on itself. But this is just a really simple tool that is going to allow you to balance your arrows on your scale. I know a lot of the scales come with these, but for me, I've got this scale I got it off of Amazon. This is the name Brief It or whatever, and I really like this one because it actually comes with a calibration weight here. So this basically allows you to test the scale to make sure it's actually accurate. And instead of just measuring your arrows in grains, I can measure everything in ounces. So I can weigh literally all of my archery gear with this. So it does, let's see. So this will do it in grains, grams, ounces, OZT. What is that? I don't know. I'm pretty smart, but I'm not that smart. DWT, whatever that is, as well, and carat, as well as grains themselves. So lots of different options to weigh things, and I can weigh more than just my arrows on this. But this little thing right here is going to help me a lot, because being that it's measuring from a flat surface here, that makes it to where it's good because I can fit bigger things than like a lot of the arrow scales out there. But the downside is that the arrows will just slide right off of it. So this is something that I've been needing to print for a long time. And again, this has worked really well so far. So I tested it out and it worked out really well. I was able to weigh my arrows, although I forgot to hit the tare button and kind of zero it out. Thing weighs 160 grains, and it worked pretty well, but it's kind of chunky and I think it's a little bit bigger than it needed to be. So I decided to go ahead and design my own. And I just wanted to do it a little bit smaller. I wanted to do something with a V shape so it'll easily accept just about any arrow size, even some of the big chunky like target arrows if I really needed to use it. Whereas the U shape might be a little bit different. So I went over here into Tinkercad. This is a great app to be able to work things up really fast and get some really quick designs. So I really like using this. All I did was just get a rectangle, put an inverted pyramid on top of it, or a inverted triangular solid on top of it, and subtract it out. This is what we ended up with. And like I say, I printed that in my chartreuse, my signature color there. Much smaller, much easier to stow away here in this little secret pocket. I was trying to decide if I could keep it inside the scale, but unfortunately the only way to do that was to remove the calibration weight, and I really didn't want to lose that because it's something that I use quite a bit, just to double check and make sure this little Amazon scale is still always accurate. And so I could stash it in there if I wanted to, and then keep my calibration weight inside my archery toolbox, but I decided to go ahead and just keep it as it is because I like having that weight there, and it's got a perfect little holding spot for it. Here's a little side by side. You can see how much difference the size is between the two of them. I like the smaller one better, obviously. Color too, but both of them are really good. That one weighs about 33, and this one weighs about 106. All right, guys, so here's the last little tool. This is, again, the FOC, the center of balance tool. You notice I got two giant screws hanging out of there. I'm going to fix this design later, but basically it requires these little tiny bearings that are very hard to find. So right here, there's supposed to be a bearing inside of there, and then there's this little tiny metric M.3 screws that go inside of that, you know, to go there and form that balance point. But I can't find those bearings right now, so what it is put two screws in there so this thing's naturally kind of balanced on there. But it's got a bubble level on it. So this thing right here I just found, I literally ordered a pack of these a long time ago for some other, I was building an arrow level tool. And this is one of the levels I ended up with. And what's awesome is this guy made this groove. He designed it to where it fits perfectly inside of there. You just have to make sure it's slid forward enough so that it balances properly. See, it's off to the side a little bit, so I'm going to move it up. There we go. All right, so now what you do is you take your arrow. Here's the tip of my arrow, and you basically point it in here, and it basically, the fact that it's free hanging is going to kind of show, you can kind of really get it balanced. So right there it's perfectly balanced. So right there it's pretty much perfectly balanced. I'll bring the camera back so you can see. There's the end of the arrow, there's the front of the arrow. So now if I wanted to, I can grab that and I can mark my FOC. I think some improvements to this design would be that if you had a sight through there so you could actually mark it, like literally physically mark, like put a pen through there or something like that, or a marker through there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the center of that screw to the end of that,
is 12.4 millimeters. So I'm going to pinch it right there. And so basically from that point, 12.4 millimeters. So right there is my center point. This is a extremely precise way to measure your FOC. So I got my little mark there. It's hard to see it's kind of dark in here. All right, and you can see that little mark on there. Now if I wanted to, I could measure to the end of the arrow and to the back, measure the entire thing, and then measure my actual FOC. So cool little tool. Awesome little 3D printed tool there.
So I decided to print these in a what we call a carbon fiber reinforced polycarbonate. So polycarbonate is a material that's similar to what you see in like milk jugs and things like that. And this one right here is a carbon fiber infused polycarbonate right here. Well, I started printing from a roll that I had about a little less than half a roll left. It was about a quarter of a roll or less. And I ran out of that filament, so I had to switch to something else. And I was really shocked to see how seamlessly this came together. But you can see there is definitely a demarcation line here where it goes from black to gray. Well, this gray filament is actually a brand new one that I'm testing out, and then I have absolutely fallen in love with. And this is a glass-filled nylon filament. And so basically it's nylon, which is a very durable, very rigid film. It's very slick as well. But the fact that it's got a almost like fiberglass infusion into it makes it to where this has actually got the most, I mean, just delightful texture. And yeah, it actually seamlessly worked too, because both of these materials, the polycarbonate and the nylon, both print at very high temperatures at like 290 degrees Celsius, which is incredibly hot. You have to have a specialized printer in order to get to those temperatures and for it to not warp extremely bad. But this came out so well in my Bamboo Lab X1 carbon that I was so pleased with it. I'm super excited to get this finished and try it out. I was so excited about this new filament that I tried out that I decided to print a series of my grips in it. And I've got to tell you, this was just phenomenal. So you can hear like this, the feel of this. I mean, it feels the carbon fiber infused grips that I make right now are already great and they have a great texture. Oh man, but this is next level. I mean, you can hear just my fingers running on it here. This one, like I say, this one especially, the 0 degree one, came out just absolutely phenomenal. It is so clean, and that grip, I mean, you can hear how grippy that thing is, man. So just for you guys, just for this video, I am going to be putting a version of this on the website that will also be able to be used with the discount code APOD YT. I think it also works on the Lift X and all these new bows as well. So this is super exciting, guys. I'm going to come out and I'm going to see if I can find more colors in this. Right now, I've just got it in the gray because I was just testing this filament out. But dear God, this is impressive. It's super strong. And I think this is going to be even more durable for sure than the current carbon fiber filled grips. I think this print surface just came out really awesome. I've always really liked that kind of diamond pattern in it, but think about changing it eventually. But here is what we're going to do. We're just going to put some of this cord. This is, you know, your typical D-loop cord. Just put that through there, burn the ends after tying a little bit of knot, smash it down, and that's going to hold that in place. Pretty simple method to do that. So I put 2 on the top here, and then I put 1 on the bottom as the design calls for. And this is just going to kind of create a triangle kind of point so that it's balanced in your hand. If I just put the 2 on the top, obviously whenever I pull back, it's going to want to just pull back from the top, and then like I said, the bottom's not going to stay in my hand. I won't have to grip it. Don't want that. So like I say, this design right here just allows for you to have a great platform. We're almost finished with this piece right here, and what I got to do is just connect these. I've got to basically 3D print another piece that's going to be an anchor here. It didn't come with the file here, but basically what I'm doing is I'm going to anchor all 3 of these pieces back here in this fashion, and then that way I can attach one more single piece of string that'll allow me to, you know, draw this back, have all 3 of these like this, and then there'll be one string that comes back here that I can change the size of in order to make sure that I've got the right draw and the right anchor and everything. All right, so what I've got here is I've got the pyramid. Basically what this is doing is I've got the top two anchored here. I've got the bottom one anchored down here. See, as I pull on it, it'll point down a little bit, and that's fine. I don't really care. I just made this just because, I needed something. I tried a flat triangle, but for some reason at the size I was printing it, it would not come out right. So I was like, you know what, let's do something different. All right, so what you got to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to draw it out until I make sure I got good grip and good form. I'm going to draw it out until I feel like I got a good anchor. Got it lit here. I'm going to give myself another few inches just to make a loop here. Do it over here. You take that loop and then you tie the loop around in on itself like that and then pull it tight, and then you end up with that. And then you can leave this here just to test it to make sure it works. So I'm going to test it here for you guys. Got it here. Great way to practice grip. Let off my safety and pull, 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 pull. There we go. Surprise release. So, cool little testing piece of gear here. Safety off. There we go. Got my nice wet arrows here, my arrow holders. We're going to stick this thing in the ground and see how it does. All right, so here we go. Here's the plunge. That was incredibly easy. Now let's stick our arrows in. I have a ton of arrows in here. This is, count them, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I got 14 arrows that fit in there, so I'd say that's a success. All right, now we're going to test out the little thumb button here. Jump a little closer so you can see. So this is the thumb button that we printed originally for our thumb release, or thumb trigger, but again, it wouldn't fit on the Carter Wise choice I got, so I put it on my B3 Ghost here. We're going to test it out real quick. Let's give it a shot. Worked pretty well. Let me fire one more shot with it. So the original peg on here was not a large button like this. It was a little tiny thin post, and I feel like this gives me a little bit better feel, a little bit better traction, because that other one was like a metal post. I wish this release was a little heavier. I know they have it in a different version, but this Ghost is definitely a light aluminum release. I prefer the heavier one, but let's take another shot here. Yeah, so just from switching to this from my normal release, which my normal release is the Carter Mini Evolution here, but just from switching this, you can see my aiming point is off, but all in all, we were super accurate. So zoom into the target there. You can see both of my arrows are right there on that side right there. So the next little tool that we 3D printed here is really cool. This is just a little stencil to help you kind of refresh your targets. I think it almost would have been a better example to use on that block target back down there, because it's got a lot more black space. And also would have helped to use a brighter color to paint. I use this darker gold color, which didn't stand out too well against the varying white and black on the blackout target. But it's very simple. Once you just stick it on there, I use the target pin here, and then I sprayed it down. And then once you go and you pull that off, basically you're left with the relief of, what was underneath it. And so this is a great way to kind of refresh some old targets and stuff like that. And, give yourself a little crosshair and a little aiming point to shoot at, And so you can actually do this in 2 colors as well if you want. So next I went back into Tinkercad and I was going to kind of design my own little thumb barrel here, because the one that was there was pretty cool, but it did not fit all of my releases, so I wanted to make one for a little bit smaller screw hole on there. And I think I'm even going to do some different design changes after this, you know, in order to make it even better. I want to get one thumb thing that fits both sizes, because right now, like I say, it typically only works on one certain type of release because they have different screws in them. So basically what I did is I just got 2 hexagons here, put them together, rotated them, so it kind of gave you that little star shape there. This was the first one that I was going to work on. This one give you a nice round, kind of grippy star shape there. Then I wanted to make something really unique, and that's whenever I did this, I designed a triangular shape because it has several flat spots and it has a groove to put your thumb in. So I thought this would be a pretty interesting one to, you know, tinker with. But anyways, so basically I did that. I subtracted the screw holes out of it so I could screw the screws of my release in there, kind of offset them a little bit too so I could get a couple different angles and see which one was going to work best. But this one worked really well for the triangle here, and we're going to test that out in a little bit. Then I just did the same thing on the dice, and now I've got 2 different shapes here that are really cool and should accent my release very well.
All right, guys, so we're going to test the thumb buttons here and kind of give you my feedback. I'm not going to do this shooting outside of the bow because I want to really focus on the feel of the button here. But the first one we got is this, I don't know what you'd call this shape here. It's like a double hex or kind of a star shape here. So this is a rounder button here. It feels nice initially here to get my finger all wrapped around it. Okay. So that's nice, but let's go ahead and give it a shot and see how it feels here with the shot trainer. Okay, so I'm letting off the button. Okay. Okay, so holding that, it feels very secure. So the one that comes with it, you can see is very tiny, and it's knurled, kind of an aluminum or something like that, or stainless steel. I think it's aluminum, knurled aluminum. But this one is like definitely feels much more secure. Like I feel like I can really bite into it, and I think that would work really well as a thumb button as well. But now let's switch it up here. Let's get to a different one. So the next one we're going to try, I'm actually really excited about. It is a dice shaped one. So a lot of the thumb pegs you see out there are circular or cylindrical shape like this, right? Whenever you curl your thumb though, you can see that there's actually a almost perfectly square shape in there. It's not round. You've got 2 angled joints that angle it, you know, up to 90 degrees. And so I wanted to try something square that will fit in there. And just by the initial looks of this, I'm excited about it because look how perfectly that fits in there. I mean, that is like a glove. Like it fits in there great. I made the holes in here for the screw a little bit small, but it fits tight. So if I made them literally about 30 or 40% bigger, it would be nice tight fit with no issues. So there we go. Here's the high roller one, I'm calling it. I think this is really cool. I think that'd be really cool to design, and I think I might do this here soon before this video is released and put this one on the website because I'm really excited about this. I want to try it because it's got flat spots on it if you want to do just a single finger. It also has, like I say, if you want to get all wrapped up in there, you can wrap your whole thumb around it, and it has like that perfect square shape. So let's give it a shot. Let's give it a test. Initially, already in my hand, I'm loving this. You know, if you want to help me come up with a better name than high roller, because that's, you know, been used several times in archery products, let me know. But all right, just feeling it up there. I'm at full draw here. Yeah, that feels good. And like I said, I kind of rolled it over just a little bit so it's at an angle. I really like this one. This one feels good. So I've got a flat face on there, like I say, where I can put the pad of my thumb on it, or if I want to wrap my whole thumb around it, it fits like in that groove of my thumb perfectly. So I can get action. Let me see if I can get a good angle here. So I can get that joint sucked in there tight. Then I can wrap my thumb around that, and I've got tension on the actual face of it. So I've basically got 3 points of tension on there, and it just feels good. I really like that. So I'm gonna squeeze as if I was pulling a thumb trigger. And yeah, I really like that wrap I can get around it. So now we're just gonna pull through. There we go. So that one really excites me. That is super cool, honestly. So But we have one more to test, and this one is a weird one. So I was just testing out shapes, and I want you guys to comment below and tell me what you think about all these different shapes, because I mean, we were literally just tinkering around with stuff, and you know, you saw the video where we're designing this earlier. This one was a bit weird. This is what we're going to call the delta shape, and I'm thinking about putting these on the website just for you guys to buy and try and give me feedback. And if you look on the website, I have a section on the website that's all about your guys' feedback. And so I love to hear what y'all have to say about the products and what you like. The grips have been, the feedback has been just incredible. It's blown my mind how I just did this little thing just for fun. I liked it myself. And then you guys have been so receptive of it. So check that out. But here we go. We've got the Delta on there. This is like a little airplane, or like the navigation icon is what it kind of looks like. It looks like a little car on your GPS driving, you know, like take a right turn, right? So anyways, so this one gives an ultra flat spot there. I don't get full retention like I do with the dice or the square here, you know, but I've got a great big flat spot on there that I can put my thumb. Huge spot to do that. And I can also rotate it. And I can also get it in there, and I can kind of wrap my, you see how it has that flat spot there? I can kind of sink my thumb into that groove there as well. So we're going to try it out in a couple orientations. Let's start with the flat spot here, and let's try that out. Okay. So coming up to full draw. So I got my finger on that button right there. Now if this were a thumb trigger, I'd pull, and I like how much space, how that huge flat spot that I've got there to push on. It's really excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and pull through that and let off the trigger. Okay, there we go. I'm loving that huge flat spot on there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do it with the groove inside there. So my thumb is sitting inside that groove. So I get a bite on the little corner there, and then I just wrap my thumb into it so it kind of fits inside of that. So let's try that out. This one, I mean, dude, I can't go wrong, but I'm really liking these. I mean, kind of easy to please, and it's better, anything's better than that just knurled, tiny, thin little or aluminum tube there. I just feel like I got so much more purchase on this. I love it. So pushing that trigger. I love how, like, this is a great way actually to maintain like that you're touching everything in the same point. Doesn't really matter as much on a thumb button, but you know, if you can be more consistent all the time, that's always better. So again, here we go. So pushing the trigger, letting go. There we go. All right. So yeah, that's interesting. I thought this was kind of weird, and I designed it on purposely to be kind of odd. You know, something unique that I've never seen before. And so, yeah, there we go. There's the Delta, the navigation icon, as I call it. I mean, honestly, of the three of them, they're all good. This one is the most, you know, the cylinder, the star shape one here. This one is kind of like the most, what's the word I'm looking for? This one's the most commonly seen one. The dice is great. Probably my favorite because it gives you so many different options right here. I also put two mounting holes on there. You see how it's a little bit, let me see if I can get that to focus. So you can see there's like a little black spot. That's where the screw went in. It's just a kind of a greasy screw going into that hole, but I had to make the hole a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go redesign that, make the holes a little bit bigger, but I put a center hole and I put that side hole there so you can kind of get it to pivot and spin around that anchor point, or you can put it right in the middle of it, either one. And same thing with this one here. Rotate it around so you can see I've got two holes there. So one for an anchor point on this side and one for on this side, whichever suits your needs better. But having that offset, you know, kind of allows it to rotate and stuff like that. So check these out, guys. Let me know what you think. This has been a really fun video because I've been able to just tinker with making and designing, kind of let you guys in a little bit on the inside scoop of, like, you know, making and 3D printing these things that I put on my website and how fun it is, and I'm excited about it. And I want you guys to tell me what you think. If you like the stuff, let me know. Comment down below what you think is the greatest one, or if you want to do a part 2 of this video, let me know what you guys want to see. I'm always open for suggestions, and you want to see something like, you know, you want new different things for different products, like I'll do my best, especially if it's something really simple to design and easy to print, we'll do that. But thanks guys for watching. I appreciate you tuning into the channel. It means the most if you just hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content from the future. You know, I say content, I hate that word content, because content makes it sound like you're just filling a space. I want to do something useful. That's why I don't always post very often, because I don't want to just regurgitate videos that everybody else does. I want to bring something unique to the table. And I think this was it, man. I'm excited about this. So share with your friends, guys, because that really helps out the channel. The big thing is if I don't post very often, the algorithm of YouTube gets screwed up, so it's hard for me to get my videos recommended whenever I'm not posting constantly, posting junk all the time. So thanks everybody for watching, and as always, keep defying the odds.